Awesome. All right, this is our group and we're gonna do our little group matrix. Starting in the lower right quadrant, what is important to all of you on the team about being a high performing team? All right. So remember that in the lower right quadrant, you are writing values and not behaviors.
Well, I think one of the first ones that is great for, that is important for a team is good communication, because without good communication, we wouldn't be able to get anything done. So that's really important.
Okay, that's really good. Like piggybacking off of that, I think, I don't know, being like dependable too is like, I feel like good communication also goes with being dependable. Like I want to talk to someone that is dependable. Like if someone's not dependable, like I feel like they're also not a good communicator because you're not going to know what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then I also think it's important to just be flexible and just understand that we're all human and, you know, things might have to change. And so just being able to understand that, I think that's a good trait for a high performing group.
Anything
I'd also
else?
say being reliable is pretty important. I think the difference between like being reliable in our group that we've been pretty good at is that with being flexible, like I feel like we've done pretty good about like helping each other on the parts that are either harder where things come up or just a couple of things have happened so far. So that is definitely something I look for in my groups.
Okay. Anything else?
I think we all, I don't know if this is like a value, but I think we've all been working really well together with so far what we've seen. So I guess it's more of a comment than like one of our values, but I think all of these we've been showing pretty well in our group. So I'm very proud of us.
Yeah, same.
I feel like that would definitely be more kind of like I definitely value collaboration. I value having like a cohesive group experience, whether that's like at work or in my personal life. Like if we're not able to collaborate and bounce ideas off of each other, then we might as well not be in a group. This is just a dictatorship.
100%.
I like that. That's good.
We have been really good about communicating, and you know, if there's something going on in the personal life, just reaching out saying, hey, this is happening, but you know, we communicate reliable and we're still getting our parts done. All right, anything else we want to add underneath our values?
I think another one last thing that we can also add is like dedication, like feeling like you're you know, like you're putting everything that you're doing into this project in order to perform at your best. I think that's super important.
Yeah,
I agree. We've dedicated our time on the weekly meetings, so we're making good progress. Anything else?
I think that's good.
Move on. All right, let's move down to the lower left quadrant. All right, when thinking about being a high performing team, what thoughts or feelings show up or get in the way? We're going to be writing our thoughts in italics and our feelings in all caps. It might help our typer if we communicate, we're writing our feelings and it needs to be a cap, just as a reminder. Keep up with the teamwork there.
Thank you.
I think that's a good idea. I think one that I have seen a lot of is I'm kind of an OCD type A person. So this is going to be a feeling in all caps, but I feel frustrated like when others procrastinate because I'm not a procrastinator. So I really like having stuff that's done ahead of time so that we're not like waiting until the last minute to turn things in, which I think we've done pretty well at, is that we've been pretty good at spacing out our time. We know that things are due on Mondays and we meet on Wednesdays and we meet again on Sundays if we have to. So that's been good about making sure that we're all on the same page and we're not procrastinating.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I don't like procrastinating. It makes me like super anxious. So I like it that we get everything done early and like I can cross it off my list and like not have to think about it.
Right.
All right, so feeling frustrated with procrastination. Just to continue, I will say sometimes I feel, and this is a feeling, so it will be in capital letters, but sometimes I feel worried that I am not getting my part done in time, or I'm keeping my group from being able to move on. So I do get worried when it comes to the project and doing my part.
Yeah. I feel the same. I feel like I don't do enough, and then I feel really guilty, and I try to like overcompensate by doing like, I guess, like trying to do more like in other places. And
Yeah, I feel agree.
I
and
think
then-
oh,
Go ahead, Brittany.
you go.
No, go ahead.
I think a thought that I have a lot is, I guess not so much now because this has been a good group experience, but like at the beginning and in past group things, I always just think about all the terrible past group experiences I've had and doing most of the project, or like doing things and then having them change just to get points taken off, just silly things. So it kind of inhibits me from doing the things I know need to get done because I have not been reinforced for my efforts in the past.
I think that's
Yeah.
a really good one.
And then another feeling that I have, and this would be in all caps, is just like feeling tired. I just feel like we're all students and it's just a normal thing. You know, we're meeting a lot of the time, like at the very end of our day. And that can, you know, impact the kind of work that we're putting in. So that's definitely something that could impact our values.
Mhm.
Another one that I have for thinking, sometimes I think about, and I know this goes with feeling worried, but I think about not like, am I doing enough? Yeah, so I'd think about not doing enough, or am I doing this right, or things like that.
But then you guys literally took all my thoughts and feelings. I guess a feeling too. I don't know if like this goes with anything else, but like also feeling overwhelmed too with like life in general. And then like classes and like getting things done on time and like trying to get everything done right and like the knowledge. And then I don't know about you guys, but like I think ahead already. So I'm already thinking about like trying to study to pass my BAC, like the BCBA exam. And then I get overwhelmed because I'm not like staying in the present. I'm like already in the future of like just ruminating on all my thoughts.
Is there anything else anyone would like to add in this quadrant? Okay, let's move on. We're going to be moving up to the upper left quadrant. And what do you do? What do you do to move away from or under the control of that bottom left stuff? These are the behaviors that you do when you have the thoughts and the feelings that we've just described to our other team members.
I think a good one, and we definitely do this even more so than 24 hours, but to put this in observable and measurable terms to make it a behavior, responding to team messages within 24 hours. We definitely do that way more frequently because we use GroupMe, which is like the texting app, but at least within 24 hours is a good like rule of thumb for groups, and that's how we've been able to talk about if we need to make a new meeting or if we have questions about a part or something like that.
I agree. I definitely have used the communication tool there to communicate things going on or like what my part is and questions about our parts and what we decided with the intervention and stuff. So I can agree with that one. I will say that we're all pretty good about completing our works and our parts and, you know, helping each other if we need assistance within our part. I think would also fall under there. So just being able to complete our work with each other.
I think something
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Brittany.
I'm like the master of starting when someone else is about to start. Um, I guess this is kind of on a personal level, but I feel like you guys probably do it too. Kind of in relation to controlling the thoughts of like past negative experiences. I have been when I do feel that way, I just kind of think you said observable and measurable, and I keep seeing that word in my head. I think in observable and measurable terms, I'm like, we've turned everything in before it was due. We've asked all of our questions and just kind of like negating those thoughts by this positive experience. So, yeah.
I would almost say, Julia, we turned in items before the assignments were due, giving it like, I think we've done like before like 24 to 48 hours before an assignment is due.
Yeah.
Great.
Another thing, oh,
No, go ahead.
okay. Another thing that we've been doing, or I mean, I personally do, and I know that like we did it a few weeks ago when we were like working super late one night during a meeting, is just taking a break when working on assignment. I think that like, working, together and there on this Zoom meeting and like doing late nights, it's important to, before we start feeling frustrated, just be like, hey, which I think we did like a few weeks ago, like our brain shutting down, like we need to call it a night and like recoup tomorrow or something. So I think that's super important and super helpful with our group.
That, and we've also kind of taken like miniature brain breaks, kind of like just talking about things that like in our personal lives to kind of just like take a break from the work even.
Right.
I feel like also, I guess it's only been like 1 or 2 weeks, but we a couple times got it turned in like way earlier because we had all expressed feeling anxious and wanting to get it done because of either everybody's head. So that I feel like was super helpful because we were all really tired on those nights, but we were all just like, we got it, let's get it done, we got this, we're working for breaks. So that was nice for that night, and then we're flexible and adjust.
I think our longest meeting has been 2.5 hours so far.
We work really well together because we're all really good at like communicating things, even if it's like just through group me or like when we talk and we meet. We're just like good about like touching base and communicating and helping each other with like other things that we need help with.
Yeah,
that's true. I feel like one thing that should go into this little box is that Julie is fantastic at reaching out to our professor and emailing. I mean, we're all in the group when she's doing it too, because most of the time it's happening during our meetings, but she will email and reach out to the professor with questions and clarifications of our assignments. And I think that's something that should go under here because that is something we're doing to help with our thoughts and feelings is we're reaching out and we're emailing and contacting our instructor.
Thank you. Made my day.
Well, you do. You take leadership, but we all like, what are we putting in this email? And you're sending the email, but we're all there going, this should go in the email.
It's like we're all like, proofreading a text message before we send it.
So I think that should go under for sure.
Awesome.
Awesome. Does anyone else have anything to add to this quadrant? All right, then let's move on to our last one, our upper right quadrant. What could you as a team be seen doing to move towards who or what is important? And these are going to be the actions someone else could see you doing.
I think continuing to check in with each other. Sorry, I didn't mean to like cut you off.
You're good.
But I think like that's really important too. Just like checking in to make sure like we're all doing okay. Like especially like so we talk all the time about like personal life events too. Like when we're taking our brain breaks. Like if we know like someone's like having a hard time, we're like reaching out like to check in with them to make sure like into their personal life too, like they're doing okay. Not only, like mentally and physically, I guess. I think that's really important because in school we need to take care of each other in more ways than one.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then, so it says on the top that what are we doing to move towards, or what is important? At least for this class, since we're writing this for our group assignment, like what is important for us is to get an A at the end of this assignment. So what are we doing to achieve that? So we're doing the work, we're helping each other, we're proofreading. Like just because someone's in charge of a section does not mean like we're just being like hands off. We're helping each other to proofread, and like I'm almost kind of in my head of seeing it as like that person is a leader of the section, but like we're all kind of like working towards it as well, because in the end of the day, it's all of our grades. So like making sure that we're kind of like working as a team to be able to get to the final product, which is, or the final result is what we want is an A.
Yeah, we did a good job without going over each other's parts and giving, you know, our opinions, or hey, what if we said this instead, with like sentence structures and grammar. And I will take part in having my grammar having to be fixed, but it works because we're working as a team, because like you said, we have the same goals. I feel like this is really good sign for me. I feel like because we do take our little brain breaks and we talk about some of the personal stuff, I think this group is really good about communicating and being flexible with what's happening within our lives and stuff. And I think that goes into play with helping us achieve our goal.
I think
Go, Brittany,
I am
go.
4 for 4
Happened too.
all the time. Kind of bouncing off of what Hillary said, I guess in more in like an observable way. I think one thing that we can do to move towards our value of like being flexible and being like dependable as that being a core value in our group dynamic is like offering, I guess, like outs when things happen, like not just waiting for someone to say, hey, like I need a break, like, hey, do you need a break? Because I feel like that's also sometimes more motivating. Like you feel less stressed when you know you can take that out and it's there, versus like, I don't want to have to use my card. I don't know if I'll need to use it. And then so like showing that flexibility before to help with the life moments or the hard weeks or whatever it looks like for us.
Mhm. And then another thing, I know this is like kind of simple, but something that we could do and have been doing as a team is just like sending group me like, messages just to remind each other about the Zoom meeting. Because we all just have different jobs and different things that we're going through. And, sometimes it may slip your mind that, oh, we have to meet tonight, to do some work. So that just really helps, just kind of still communicating everything with that.
That really helps me.
Yeah. And then and this kind of went with completing the work as a team, but making sure that we split up the work evenly. And we did that, I think we did that pretty well by in the beginning, while we were getting ready for this project, we actually made up a sign-up chart or sign-up sheet. So we actually went through all the different sections and figured out who was doing what. So that way we're able to quickly kind of reference that when we're going through the sections. But if it ends up being like a harder section, then we end up helping each other out a little bit for that. So that's been pretty nice to have.
I agree. Anything else anyone would like to add?
I think another thing, like I know we do this pretty good already, but it's also something we could like continue going, moving forward to achieve like RA is continuing to like help each other out for hard sections. I can't remember if we've talked about that or not for this quadrant. But I feel like we're doing good at that, but like I feel like it'd be good for us to like continue doing it moving forward too. As like this, I'm sure this paper is going to get even harder.
I think the references, or not the references, I think the appendices are going to actually be really hard, and we're going to want to, although we like split it up, I think we're going to be pretty I can anticipate us working pretty closely on all those.
I agree. Anything else, anybody? Are we good? Awesome. Well, thanks for watching our little group matrix building of our little table.